Um, okay, so the practice today will be for finding the inner ground. If you've ever lost someone who you love, you've probably experienced the sense of disorientation that happens, which is super, it's kind of surprising for me, this sense of, I mean, I've been really super lucky. I've never lost a really super close loved one before. And what is surprising me is how disorienting it is. And also, it reminds me of, the times that I've been on, spiritual pilgrimages and have had that experience of kind of standing between two worlds where you're sort of in between, um, the invisible world and the visible world. And I feel like when somebody, just like at birth, at death, it's like a portal opens. And I think the people who are close to the person can sort of get pulled into it in a beautiful way. And also, but it's very disorienting. Those of you who work with me in my coaching practice, I talk about the four squares of transformation. And the first square is called square one, which is when everything kind of falls apart. It's like the world kind of opens up. There's a chasm. It's like when somebody dies, when we lose a job, when, these big things in our lives happen. And um, it's like the when the caterpillar goes into the chrysalis, it's that kind of experience where we are no longer who we were before. We are no longer who we were before, and we don't yet quite know who we are becoming. Like the caterpillar doesn't yet know it's going to be a butterfly, but it does have to go into this dark place. And, the chrysalis is a protective mechanism so that the caterpillar can transform and transmute. And it's very disorienting. But anyway, I'm not going to talk too much. But what I want to do is practice and focus on um, this sense of connecting to an inner ground, which, this is something that we all could use. And, the world is always, kind of jarring us these days. And there's so much going on in the world right now. So this is very aligned with kind of what's happening in our culture and in the world. And whatever's happening in your personal life too. So it's a practice for connecting to the inner ground, an inner sense of stability. So that's what we'll do. So thanks for showing up, everyone. You might want a blanket today because we're going to do lots of seated poses. And so if you want some support for that, let me just make sure my phone is turned off here. Okay. And you might want a strap as well. Okay, well, thanks for being here. Let's just come to stand and just close your eyes. Bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly, and just feel your heart beating and the breath breathing your body. And so when we close our eyes, we do that so we can connect more easily to the invisible world. And, whenever we talk about any kind of spirituality or God or whatever you want to call it, nature, we're connecting to what is invisible, but that we also know that is real and we feel it. And so closing our eyes is one of the ways we can kind of connect more easily to that. And just tune into your breath. And I just want to invite you to a sense of tenderness, softness, compassion for whatever your experience is today. And then please release your hands and open your eyes, and then come to the front of your mat and stand up nice and tall. Please inhale, lift your arms up and over your head. And then exhale, fold forward, crown of the head towards the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the ground, and then walk back to downward facing dog. Okay, so as you breathe, just connect to the feeling of the mat underneath your hands and underneath your feet. And so you bring yourself into your physical body. You can feel your bones, feel the muscles, feel the skin, and feel how the breath moves through the inside, through the interior. And then inhale, come forward into plank. Exhale, lower your knees, lower all the way down to the ground. Come to the tops of your feet, press your feet and your hands down. As you inhale, arch your spine, lift your chest, cobra. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, step the right foot forward. Left knee to the ground, and then come up. And now bring your palms together and interlock your fingers. Take the hands forward, and then lift the hands to the sky. Slow down your breathing. And so we can ground ourselves, during these times of disorientation, where it's like we're not who we were before and we're not sure who we're becoming yet. And so we can ground ourselves in our bodies, in our breath, in these things that, we've cultivated over a long period of time. And then release your hands, bring your hands to the ground, and then go back down dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left foot forward, right knee to the ground, come up, and now bring the opposite index finger and front hands together, and then reach your arms to the sky. And so in every pose, you have an opportunity to land in your body. And then bring your hands to the floor, and then step back, downward facing dog. Okay, walk your feet forward to your hands. Inhale, come up halfway, and exhale, fold crown of the head towards the ground. And then please press down, inhale, rise up. And then exhale, lower your hands down to your sides, bend your knees, move your hips back. Inhale, take the arms forward and up. And then exhale, lift your hips, drop your head, fold over your legs. Inhale, half lift. And then exhale, step your left foot back about 3.5 feet. So we'll come to Parsvottanasana. Anchor into your heels and slow down your breath. So one of the things that yoga is very, very powerful. It's very powerful and potent for supporting us in staying awake, even during times of big upheaval and change. And so it can give us a place of kind of refuge and solace. And it's not to ignore or numb ourselves from, our experience or from what we're feeling. And then step the left foot forward and then step the right foot back. But it's to offer a container, a safe space to feel, to breathe, to be human. I don't know if you guys can hear the birds outside my window, but they're making lots of really great noises right now. Okay, and then step forward, inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, fold. Come up halfway onto your fingertips, and then step your left foot back into a lunge now, and then bring the left knee to the floor, and we'll turn the right toes to the right a little bit, and then come into lizard pose. So whatever variation of this pose you'd like to do. Lately, I've been bringing my outer forearm down and staying up on the inner hand, and that feels a little bit better for me lately. But you can also bring both forearms down. You can also come onto blocks. You can also stay up on your hands. And so when we're going through these disorienting times, when there's a loss or a big change in our lives, um, our practice can be slow, and we can do more forward bends and low to the ground poses. And then come up to your hands, and let's step the left foot forward and then step the right foot back. Bring your right knee to the floor and then come down and breathe. And so for me, it doesn't feel good I don't really want to do lots of back bends and all that kind of stuff right now. Probably soon I will, but when you're feeling kind of raw, which happens with these sort of more watery emotions like depression and sadness and grief, any kind of loss, which happens really at any kind of change, whenever anything's changing in our lives, sadness or grief or depression will come forward to help us process that. That's what those emotions are for. And it kind of softens our boundaries a little bit. Okay, so come up to your hands and then step forward with both feet and separate your feet as wide as your sticky mat. Bend your knees, move your hips back, and then take your arms forward. And so when our boundaries are soft, you feel kind of vulnerable, you feel a little bit raw, you feel sensitive. What we want to focus on in our yoga practice is bringing more earth energy into our bodies. So we look at the elements and we bring more earth energy, which is like boundaries, right? Embracing energy. Okay, and then place your hands underneath your shoulders and then go back, downward facing dog. And so the earth energy is muscle energy. It's a sense of steadiness. It's slower. It's downward moving energy. All right, so we slow ourselves down. Okay, walk your feet to your hands. Stand on your right foot. Take your left leg to the sky for standing split. So first, I want you to anchor the right foot into the ground. So anchor the right foot and then draw muscle strength up through that leg, all the way into the pelvis. Anchor the left foot to the sky and draw muscle energy from the left foot into the pelvis. And then from the core of your pelvis, you expand energy through both legs. And then release, left foot down, right leg up. Keep breathing. So push into the left foot, into the ground. Grow roots to the center of the earth. And then you draw strength from the earth all the way up into the pelvis, and then from the sky down into the pelvis. And so your body is a conduit for energy. And then release, both feet down. Step your left foot back about 3.5 feet, left heel to the floor, left toes to the left. Twist to your right, right arm to the sky. And breathe into the back of your left lung. Widen your collarbones, widen your heart. Inhale, please unwind. Exhale, step the left foot forward and then step the right foot back. Twist to your left. And then please inhale, unwind. Step the right foot forward, step the left foot back, left knee to the ground. So you're in a lunge now. And then come up. Left arm to the sky. Right hand to right thigh. Press the right thigh down. Lovingly draw the navel back. So you see that action of drawing the navel back is like this embracing energy. It's a stabilizing energy. Twist to the right and then bring your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh, palms together. Slow down your breath. Soften your eyes and your jaw. Inhale, please unwind. Exhale, switch legs. Right knee down, come up. Please bring your left hand to your left thigh, right arm to the sky. Twist to your left. Right elbow to the outside, palms together. Keep breathing. And then please inhale, unwind. Hands to the floor. Let's go back to downward facing dog and just breathe here again. And I want you to feel the ground beneath you. So you feel your hands and your feet contacting the earth. You feel the pillars of the arms and the legs. You feel the beautiful curves of your spine and the way the breath spirals through the body. Please, on your inhale, come forward to plank. And then exhale, lower your knees and lower all the way down to the earth. Inhale, come forward into a little cobra. Exhale, press back to your hands and knees. And then go back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, draw the right knee forward into your chest, round your spine. Stay here for a moment. Push into your fingertips. Breathe into your back body. And then go back down dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, draw the knee forward, round your spine. Lift your ribs away from the ground. And then downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, draw the knee forward. Take your right leg to the left. Lift your left arm to the sky. Open up. Left hand down. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, draw the knee in. Take the left leg to the right. Right arm opens. Right hand down. Downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to chest. Now this time we'll come into pigeon pose. So if you need to modify pigeon, if you're, and I know some of you might have knee stuff going on or whatever, you can either lay on your back and do reclining pigeon. You can also do it like this. So if you put your shin straight, heel underneath the hip, and then you can fold forward like this. Okay, so either do laying on your back, reclining, or We'll come down onto the forearms and the elbows. And you'll find your place of steadiness here. And so you anchor yourself into the energy of the earth. And so when we're in square one, that sort of experience of being disoriented, of losing something, releasing something, um, uh, it's not time to start something new yet, usually, right? You want to be careful and cautious of how, what kind of decisions you make. Um, like, a couple 2 days ago, I almost went and got a tattoo, and I was like, okay, I'm not allowed to get a tattoo until I got to give myself a few months, and if I still want a tattoo in a few months after this, I'll do it, but I'm not allowed to do it right now. We don't want to make any rash decisions. Um, there's a lot of creative energy that arises in the cocoon time, and so you want to be just very mindful of how you direct it and how you use it. And it's also a time to, just be tender with your energy. Okay, and place your hands to the floor and then down dog. Inhale, left leg to the sky. Draw the knee in, take the left shin forward, and then come down into your version of pigeon. And so you consciously engage your muscles close to the bones. That is a stabilizing activity. So engaging the muscles to the bones is a stabilizing force. It will stabilize your whole being. And so we learn to take care of ourselves through all the different experiences of life. Okay, nice. And then come up to your hands and then go back to downward facing dog. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, come to the outer edge of your right foot and then take your left foot behind you. So you can turn this into a side plank, right? And just reach the top arm. If you want to open the chest, you can turn the chest up. And then let's do the other side. Good. And then come all the way down onto your hands and knees, please. And then cross your right thigh in front of your left thigh. So you can either separate your feet and sit between your heels, or you're going to sit on your left heel. Another option is to extend the left leg straight out in front of you and just cross the right leg over. So this is Gomukhasana, the cow pose. Squeeze your legs together, and then you can fold forward if that feels good for you. And feel free to close your eyes or keep them open. And you anchor your attention into the breath, into the feeling body. And then please inhale, come up to your hands and knees, and then exhale, change side. So now take your left leg in front and sit back on your right heel or between your feet. So do what feels right in your body, and then you can fold forward. And you'll continue to breathe here. And then inhale, come forward. Exhale, unwind. Now come into Virasana. So you're going to have your knees together, feet apart, and some of us are going to sit on a block or a blanket. If you can sit between your heels on the floor, go for it. Another option is to just sit on your heels. Okay, lift your left arm to the sky, bend the elbow, reach around. So here's where you might want to strap. If you want to hold a strap, go for it. Otherwise, you're just going to clasp your hands and then you can close your eyes or keep them open and soft. And so we just are cultivating this sense of, generosity with our awareness and with our compassion for ourselves, for our experience, for our bodies. And then please release and change sides. And if you need a strap, just grab your strap. Okay, and then release that. Now come forward onto your hands and knees. And inhale, arch your spine like a back bend. And then exhale, round and coil in. Inhale, arch like a back bend. And exhale, round and coil. Inhale, arch. And exhale, round. Okay, and then you're going to sit, move the block away, and then you're going to sit to the left side of your feet. So the feet are on the right, and then you're going to twist to your left. So you're sitting on your left hip, your right sit bone is off the floor. Your feet are close together. Find that sense of an inner ground. And then inhale, unwind, and then exhale, change sides. One of the things I've learned from, just the reading that I've done on trauma and also in my own personal healing work that I've done with myself is that in order to heal something, you have to feel it. You have to feel it. And emotions are meant to be felt and to flow. Every single one of them is, even the difficult ones, the ones that we tend to be a little bit afraid of. And I would say that grief is one of those emotions that we generally have a difficult time with. It's very uneven and tricky and slippery and um, very, very, it can be big and comes in surprising ways. Um, and so in order to let the grief heal what it's coming to heal. Every emotion comes to heal something. So uncross your legs and open them. We have to create space for ourselves to feel it. And because grief is one of those watery emotions that it sort of breaks down our boundaries in a certain way. So you can fold forward, and if you want, you can come onto blocks. So you can bring your forearms onto blocks. If your hips are more tight, you can sit up on a blanket. So because the water kind of dissolves the boundaries in a certain way, we want to create a sense of outer stability so that we can once again connect to our own inner stability. Grief is destabilizing. Loss is destabilizing. And so having a practice, a regular practice like this that we all have been cultivating for some time in our lives, is one of the ways that we can create stability for ourselves. And so for me, it's like really good to be here with all of you and to, just be in my practice again. I took a bunch of days off, but now I'm back and it feels good and very stabilizing. So just keep breathing and anchoring your feet into the ground, anchoring your hips into the ground. Okay, and then come up to sit, and then you're going to twist to your right, and you can fold over the right leg. So take your time. Feel free to close your eyes. Feel the way the breath wants to open you from the inside. Feel the strength of your outer body, the solidness. And then please inhale, come up, and then exhale, change sides. So just slow down your breath, let the breath move through the whole body. You can inhale down into the earth and exhale up to the sky. That's a way to ground your energy. So when you inhale, you energetically anchor more, and when you exhale, you energetically expand up more. Okay, and then inhale, come up to sit, and now bend your left leg in, and then we're going to fold between the legs. Keep your hips on the ground, so you'll see this left hip is going to want to lift up, but I want you to keep it down. And then optional variation, you're going to bring your right forearm to the floor on the inside of your right leg, and then reach your left arm, maybe grab your foot, and then you can turn the chest towards the sky if that feels good, or just stay here with the chest facing the ground. Just keep the pelvis anchoring and the ribs lifting. And then please inhale, come up, and then we'll change sides. Fold between your legs. Press your right hip down. So rather than thinking about folding forward deeply, you stay grounded in your hips and in your legs. And from there, you expand. Right? So the reason we don't start new things when we're in the midst of grief is we don't know where the ground is, and so we don't want to initiate from an ungrounded place. Right? The ground has shifted, and so we got to wait until we feel that new landing place inside of ourselves. Okay, now you can go deeper if you want. Grab the foot if you'd like. And then please inhale, come all the way up to sit. Okay, so we'll come to, so here's, I'll give you two choices. So you either have Sukhasana, so the feet are going to be lined up with the knees, okay? Or Agni Stambhasana, where you cross the ankle on top. Another variation of that is to put a block in front of your knee and then put the foot there on the block. That might work better for some of us. And then you can fold forward. So you press the outer edge of your feet down and lift your knees up a little bit and also push out through the soles of your feet. Slow down your breath. So you fully embrace yourself and feel what you feel. And then you can come up, change sides. And fold forward. And either close your eyes or keep them open. Okay, and then please come up to a comfortable seat. And now extend both legs out in front of you. And then bend your right knee. You're going to hook the elbow around the knee or take the arm in front of the shin. So you can maybe do a bind if you want. So you take the other arm back and we're going to twist to the left, or you can just hook the elbow around the knee and twist that way. Okay, so do what feels good for you today. So you let your inner body expand with light. And then please inhale, unwind, and exhale, let's change sides. So you can do the bind if you want by wrapping around, or hook the elbow and twist. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, extend that. Now take the right leg and cross it over to the outside of the left thigh. So some of you might want to bend the bottom leg as well. But for me, that causes me to lose my center. I can't keep both hips down that way. So I'm going to keep my bottom leg straight. Twist to your right. Keep both sit bones on the floor. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, change sides. So you exhale into a twist. And then please inhale, unwind. Okay, now you're going to take your right leg into Virasana. If you need to, so the left leg is going to come like this. Okay, so you're going to bend your left leg. If you need to, you're going to sit up on a blanket. Make sure that the foot is on the mat, not on the blanket. So you want to lift your hips above your feet. Okay. Um, if you like, you can lean into this knee, turn the inner thigh back, and then grab the foot and then bring the foot up into half lotus. But don't force it. If it doesn't happen, don't worry about it. Just keep your foot on the floor. Lean into that knee, twist again. So you're either going to keep your hand on the floor or you can wrap it behind you and grab the foot. Keep breathing. Please inhale, unwind. Exhale, change sides. So left leg into Virasana, right leg is going to go here for the twist, or you're going to take it up. And then you'll lean into that knee. Maybe grab your foot behind you. Nice. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, release. Let's bring the soles of the feet together, knees apart. If your knees are higher than your hips, you want to sit up on a blanket for Baddha Konasana. Okay, so you want to lift your hips up. You'll see that you'll be able to breathe better when you do that. And it will also let your pelvis really spread and ground. And then you can fold forward. Right, so when we're connecting to our inner ground, which really is like all the time, we want to actually connect to our like physical ground, right? So the core of your pelvis touching the ground, keeping it anchored there. Because everything is a mind-body exercise. Mind and body are connected. Spirit and soul, emotions, energy, everything is happening all at the same time. We are multi-dimensional, multi-layered beings. Okay, and then please come up to sit, and then let's lay down on our backs. And if you, so we're going to use a block in a little bit, and you might want a strap too. So lay down. Please extend your left leg out on the floor and extend your right leg to the sky. And even out your hips, feel your ground, feel the ground. Take a few deeper breaths. So when we are in our standing split, we are pulling from the feet up into the pelvis. So you can do that same thing here. And then from the pelvis, you expand through the legs. Slow down your breath. Keep embracing the bones with the muscles. I heard someone talk about grief. A friend of mine was sending me all these beautiful little like videos and things about grief, all these talks and stuff, and I was watching a few of them, and one of the one of the speakers was talking about how it's like your bones become soft, and it kind of feels that way. And so embracing your bones with your muscles is very, very stabilizing, steadying, grounding. And now take the right leg to the right. Keep breathing. And then please come back to center and then extend that leg all the way down. Let's try the other side. So bend your left leg, lift the foot to the sky, loop the strap around the foot, anchor down through the right leg. So from your feet, you pull that embracing, loving, stabilizing energy of the muscles into the closer to the bones. Keep breathing. And then you can take the left leg off to the left. Go slow. And then please come back to center and release that leg down. Okay, so now let's do a shoulder stand. So some of you might like to do like straight up, shoulder stand. If you practice shoulder stand, if you like to do shoulder stand, go for it. Um, I'm going to use a block. The way that I do it these days is with a block under my sacrum. So um, it doesn't feel good for me to have all that weight on my neck, and I'm just not strong enough to not to not do that. So I do it this way. I lift my hips and I put the block under my sacrum, and so then I get to be on my shoulders. We don't want any of the vertebrae in your spine touching the floor. So you need to be strong enough in your neck and your shoulders and your core to actively lift the spine away from the ground as you keep the shoulders and the head down. Okay, and so if you're supporting your sacrum with the block, then you can take your legs in and then extend them straight up. And so you're still engaging, you're still embracing your muscles to the bones, not in a rigid way, right? Because we don't want to suffocate the grief or whatever it is that we feel. We don't want to suffocate our energy. We want to let it flow. I think that's one of the hardest things about grief is that it's like it feels so painful and so disorienting. And I think it takes a lot of courage to hold space for ourselves and also to hold space for others as they're going through it. Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. You can't explain it with words. We can try, right? And so we in learning how to hold space for ourselves and our own like uncomfortable and messy emotions, we learn how to hold space for other people and theirs. And a big piece of it is like not needing to take away the pain. I think that's one of the things that kind of keeps us stuck sometimes is we're so afraid of our own pain and so afraid of other people's pain. And so how we show up for ourselves when we're in pain is a really big deal. And how we show up for others in our lives. It's a really big deal. Something we all want to learn, as people who love other people. Okay, so you can bend your knees and come down. So if you're in shoulder stand, you'll roll out. If you're on the block, you'll just simply bring your feet down to the floor. And then when you feel ready, you can make sure you squeeze your butt and lift your hips and then lower down. And then I'll invite you to come into Supta Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, knees apart. You can put a block underneath each leg, or if you want, you can use your blanket. So if you kind of take your blanket and fold it into like a long um, kind of rectangle, you can put the blanket on top of your feet, over your feet, and then kind of tuck it under your shins. And that's another way to support yourself in this pose. And then you can close your eyes and be in your breath. Connect to the way the breath wants to move through your body. Scan your body for any places of gripping or holding. So you can stay here if you'd like, or please extend your legs all the way out on the floor and come to Shavasana. And so Shavasana is the corpse pose. Shav is corpse. And actually, in the Jewish tradition that I grew up in, when somebody passes, um, there's a ritual called sitting Shiva. And it's spelled the same way that we spell Shiva in the yoga tradition. Shiva, who is the god of death and rebirth, and who hangs out in the graveyard. Actually, he dances on graves. He covers himself in the ash of the cremated bodies of the dead people. And so in the Jewish tradition, you sit Shiva, and for a week after the person has died, people will come um, to the people who are mourning, the loved ones that are left behind. They go to their home and they bring them food and they just sit with them. And there's a candle that I have on my little table right here behind me, and it's a 7-day Shiva candle, and so it will burn for the 7 days, and you just you just mourn. And during this time, you're not supposed to really do anything other than that. And it's a way of really letting yourself feel and experience the grief and the loss so that you can move through it. And I think it's a very wise and very beautiful tradition. And I love how in yoga we do something like this. At the end of every single practice, we just lay our bodies down and we just let ourselves release. And a lot of people are terrified of Shavasana. People just, they don't want to do it. They don't want to just be still. They don't want to be quiet. They don't want to let go. They hold on so tight to everything in their lives, and they just think they have to go to the next thing. And um, I just think that there is a very deep wisdom and order to this practice and to all of these traditions that humans have created to help us process and understand our lives more deeply. And so Shavasana is like this Jewish practice of sitting Shiva, as we just let ourselves kind of mourn a little bit, release, let go, soften, allow. So please take a few deeper breaths. Move your wrists and your ankles a little bit. And then you can draw the knees together and then roll onto your right side. And then use your hands and come up to a comfortable seat. And we can bring the palms together in front of the heart. And I thank you so much for showing up.